Oh, wow. That's awesome.
Wow.
Wait, let's see.
Oh! Good job, Michael.
What's going on, guys? It's Rob from Heroes Avenue. Happy Friday. I hope the clip in front of this video started your Friday off right because, man, though we didn't get to see a high-resolution image of Wayne T. Carr as Jon Stewart, the energy that Zack gives off during that clip is just amazing. I love how amazed and in awe he still is of that image and how excited he was to reveal the image of Wayne T. Carr. And it's almost like he was waiting for someone to ask him that because he did mention in a previous interview he had an awesome image of Green Lantern from the shoot he did on his driveway. So, man, we're going to get into an article in just a second. Zack Snyder comments on his relationship with WB and what Green Lantern would have been doing in his Snyder Cut. So we're about to get into that. But first, please do like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And man, this week has been such a good week for comic book movie news and updates, but I find myself still fixated on Zack Snyder's Justice League. And Zack Snyder, of course, for many reasons, of course, Army of the Dead is going to be in theaters this weekend. I tried to find a babysitter to watch my son, though everyone was busy, so I'm going to have to watch it on Netflix next week. So everyone who watches Army of the Dead, hope you guys all have fun, stay safe out there. Of course, the Carnage trailer, the Venom Let There Be Carnage trailer came out this week. It was cool. It was cool, but again, I'm finding myself fixated on Zack Snyder's Justice League because there's still a lot to fight for. Restore the Snyderverse. So let's get into this article right here. So it's by Mike Ryan, and a lot of snippets from this article have been posted around onto Twitter, rightfully so. So let's check out what Zack Snyder has to say. Of course, I recommend you go to Uproxx, check out this article in full. Give Mike's article a read. But I'm going to skip to the points where he's talking about Zack Snyder's Justice League. So it says Zack Snyder on getting back to basics with Army of the Dead after what he calls torture. This article goes on to talk about multiple subjects, but what I want to talk about is this. I'm going to start on this little bit right here. It says, did you need that? And I think he's referring to kind of a refresh and getting back to something that he's a little bit more familiar with this zombie movie. And it says, oh, God, yeah. It was cool to do the Snyder Cut of Justice League, and that was fun and everything, but Warner Brothers still tortured me the whole time for whatever reason. They can't help it. I don't know why I'm such a fucking pain in their ass, because I'm not trying to be, honestly. Interviewer goes, now, what you just said right there, and I've seen your other recent quotes where you said Warner Brothers isn't being receptive to the Snyderverse, because look, every experience I've had with you is you are a very nice guy and very passionate filmmaker, but do you worry when you say things like that? Not Warner Brothers, but another studio might be like, well, if things go south, we don't want to be on the receiving end of that. And Zack says, well, I just don't know who would ever end up on the other end. If you analyze what happened with Warner Brothers, it's not a normal situation. It's a once-in-a-generation bizarro situation. I just had an amazing experience with Netflix, and it was awesome, and we had a great partnership and incredibly great experience. So the only thing I would say is that it's an unusual situation, especially, and this is him referring to the studio kind of being very petty in what they're doing. They're underhanded and backhanded ways of getting back at Snyder or rejecting his universe. Like, for example, dropping a 4K trailer of Joss Whedon's version of Justice League after the Snyderverse, or after Zack Snyder's Justice League just came out. Like, how tone deaf can you be? So that's one example. And then the interview, Mike goes on to say, that's true, and I just say from a selfish standpoint because I want to keep seeing your movies and I don't want you to get in too much trouble. Zack says, no, I agree. I don't want to get into trouble either. But I'm not going to sit here and let them act like that and not, look, they're the ones who have been aggressive, not me. I haven't done anything. Every day they turn around and do something weird, passive-aggressive, some weird passive-aggressive thing. So I don't know. It's weird. But look, like I say, I had a great time making Justice League. I'm super glad I got to finish it. So, all right, we're going to jump down to the later part of the interview in which he talks about Green Lantern's role in his movie and what it would have been. So just wanted to comment on this really quick. One of the things I had really a lot of concerns for is that the fact that Zack Snyder's doing all these crazy things like revealing his Green Lantern or putting in Darkseid when he wasn't supposed to, or adding and filming another scene with the Joker even though he wasn't supposed to, and just revealing all these things on social media, I've always wondered how he's not gotten in trouble for all of this by Warner Brothers. In trouble meaning like, hey, a lawsuit. This is before the Snyder Cut came out, right? He was basically encouraging the fans in a way to pursue this fight. And I've always been really surprised that Warner Brothers has never taken any legal action or anything like that for him. And of course, it would look really bad for Warner Brothers to do that given Zack's situation. Anyways, I'm really glad that Zack has said this, and he said in past interviews that he's open to letting cooler heads prevail. So let's hope that happens. I don't see how that's going to happen unless the current leadership at Warner Brothers is gone. But all right, let's get on to, finally, this pop-up lets me exit out. Okay, here he goes. He talks about Watchmen 2009, which was amazing, how he wants to see it still. He talks about other things. And here we go. The last thing is about Green Lantern. It says, I was reading the piece where the next Justice League movies would have gone. You mentioned how you really wanted to use Jon Stewart's Green Lantern, but you had to use Martian Manhunter instead. I'm curious how Jon Stewart would have fit into the whole story and what his role would be. Zack says, well, you know, I shot it, right? I shot Jon Stewart, so yes, I wanted to use him. So basically what was going to happen is that he had two roles. One, we would have seen him in the post-apocalyptic world. He was kind of like their scout and kind of like their, joined the team. And then in the final battle against Darkseid, he would have gotten the Green Lantern Corps and organized them to fight against Darkseid. Those would have been his jobs. And Mike says, I like Martian Manhunter, but Jon Stewart's the best. And then he says, I do too. I like Martian Manhunter. By the way, Martian Manhunter was going to be in there anyway, so you would have had both. So I did a story maybe a couple weeks ago where I'm forgetting Martian Manhunter's actor's name on the top of my head for some reason. I am forgetting. But he mentioned that they were both going to be there at the end. So there's that. And then there was other reports of Kilowog being next to Jon Stewart as well. So regardless, we were going to get both of these iconic Justice League characters in the movie. And, of course, it got cut out. Now there's a chance of hashtag release the Green Lantern scene. And, of course, release the Snyderverse. And, of course, release Zack Snyder's Green Lantern Corps. And all these hashtags are funny, but, the big thing is restoring the Snyderverse, and of course we got to keep pushing this fight. We didn't get the Snyder Cut after a couple months, so I'm going to keep pushing it on this channel just because I'm still very intrigued by Zack Snyder's Justice League. And don't get me wrong, I'm still intrigued by some of the other movies Warner Brothers is doing too. I'm not out here putting the creatives, Andy Muschietti, David F. Sandberg, who actually is about to start filming Shazam 2 because Zachary Levi just arrived in Atlanta to start filming. I didn't cover it here, but there's the coverage. I'm not putting any of these guys at fault because of the creative decisions WB's made. I'm still excited to see some DC movies out there, but in this multiverse, we could still see everything. We could see Zack Snyder's vision. We could see WB's vision. Hey, continue with your vision by all means. I would love to see this multiverse fleshed out in the right way. But the way it's going seems like the wrong way, where you're trying to use the multiverse to erase one other universe, which kind of makes no sense. All right, that's my thoughts on it. I'm going to leave you with the video, once again, of Zack Snyder revealing this image, because it's just so awesome.
Whoa. Oh, wow. That's awesome. Wow. Wait, let's see. Oh! Good job, Michael.